Well, I've been robbed. And it happens. I'm traveling. I've been robbed, and I also got lucky. And I'll tell you a little bit about that. A lot of people that I hear from, either directly or on the different Italian travel forums that I participate in, different European travel forums that I participate in, um, sometimes, especially new travelers, sometimes express concern that bad things are going to happen to them, that they are going to be, their safety is going to be compromised, their security is going to be compromised when they travel. And I want to say that despite what happened to me the other day in Rome, that I'm about to tell you about, that travel in Italy and travel in Europe is very safe. And you just need to use situational awareness. You need to pay attention to what's going on around you and not screw up like I did the other day in Rome. Well, what happened was that I was trying to get to an appointment downtown. I was staying a little ways out of town in a cool Airbnb, and I needed to get from that Airbnb, from that neighborhood to kind of central Rome. And I'm a big believer in using transit. I like using transit. You know, I know some travelers, especially wealthy and first-time travelers and travelers who are afraid of the world. They might travel to a city, might travel to Rome or to Milan, the two big cities, and have a private driver engaged at the airport waiting for them, holding a sign with their name on it when they get off the plane. And that person will whisk them to their hotel or their agriturismo, wherever they're going. Um, and you know, without them ever having to encounter the you know the rough and ready world of Italian public transit. But Italian public transit works well, and in Rome it works exceptionally well. In Rome, there are these things. This is called a beat. It's a ticket that's good for 100 minutes on any transport in Rome, for 100 minutes from when you first use it, and it cost about $1, about €1.50, so about $1.60. I, on this particular day, was going to an appointment downtown. I was out of kind of out of the center a little bit in a residential area, in a really beautiful residential area, in a beautiful short-term apartment. And to get to where I was going, I had to take a tram to a bus and a bus to a subway. So I got on the tram, and when you first get on a bus or a tram in Italy with one of these cards, you have to validate it. You can put it in a big yellow machine, and it gets sucked in, and it prints on the back of the card the date and time that you got on the train. It also has a electronic strip there that it records it on, I think magnetically. And so I did that. I got on the bus, or on the tram rather. I went to the bus, got on the bus, and went to the subway station. Now, I made a big mistake. And the mistake I made was that I should have remembered that I was going to have to use this card again when I got to the subway station. I was going to have to put it into a reader and at the subway station that opens the gate up that gets you into the station. I had forgotten about that. So instead of putting it in my pocket like I should have in my shirt pocket, had it ready to go, I put it in my wallet, put my wallet in my pocket of my pants in the front where there's a zipper, and I put my wallet there. And when I got to the subway station, I had to pull my wallet out, and I had to take the card out of the wallet, put it in the machine, and put it back in my wallet. Put my wallet back in my pocket, zip the pocket back up. The pocket's kind of on the front and the side of my pants. And the night before I made that trip, the night before I'd been to the bancomat to get some cash, the ATM machine basically at a bank, and um, and so I had a couple €100 that were clipped on the back of my wallet, just a money clip on my wallet, and when I pulled that wallet out of my pocket in that crowded train station to use the ticket, uh, everybody in that train station around me who was paying attention saw where my wallet was, saw how much money was in it, and saw where I put it, and saw the zipper, and understood where my money was. Well, I went to get on the train. You go down an escalator at this station. I went down the escalator to get on the train. The train came into the station, the subway. The door opened up, sound effect, And I got on the train, or I tried to get on the train, but right as I was stepping onto the train, a young woman stepped around me, got in front of me, and held her hands up like this and kind of pushed against my shoulders. Um, and I was very confused. She wasn't letting me on the train. I tried to step to one side. She stepped the same way. It was just very weird. And she had this big scowl on her face, like she was really pissed off at me for something. I had no idea what for. I don't think I'd ever seen her before. I hadn't noticed her, in the station. And, I thought maybe I'd looked at her funny, or she thought I looked at her funny, or maybe I bumped into her. Who knows? I had no idea. Well, this lasted about 30 seconds, and then all of a sudden the gong sounded to indicate the doors were closing. And when the doors closed, she stepped off the train. I stepped on the train. The train took off on its route to the next station, and I looked down and realized that my pocket was the zipper was down, and my wallet was long gone. Well, it's a good lesson, first of all, because it was my fault for not paying attention and for, being too complacent. And it's really important to make sure that you've secured your valuables. And I had not done that. I had advertised my valuables to the world. Well, I got to the station that I was heading to. I found a municipal police officer outside the station and told her what had happened. And she said, "Have you canceled any credit cards?" And I immediately pulled out my phone, and I have apps for my credit cards. I went to those apps and I indicated the card was stolen, and so both of those cards were blocked and they hadn't been used, so that was a good thing. And she said the next thing you need to do is go to a police station and file a report. You need to go to an officer and file a report. And she said the main office of the Roman Carabinieri, the military police, is just about 4 blocks that way. So why don't you go there and file a report? Which is what I did. I went to the station, and to the police station, and I talked to the officer at the window there, and he produced what was called a denuncia, basically a report saying that what had happened to me. Well, while I was in this police station and doing this, all of a sudden I had a kind of a brainstorm. I remembered that tucked into my wallet was a device called an air card. Now, you may be familiar with these things. This is an Apple AirTag, and yeah, focusing in. An Apple AirTag, they're not very expensive. I have a few of them. When I travel, I always stick one inside my suitcase if I check a suitcase, and that way I can see where my suitcase is as I travel. Um, the way these things work is that they are um, what's called a Bluetooth beacon. They're a little radio transmitter that uses a type of technology called Bluetooth, and they transmit a signal, a radio signal. It goes about 10 meters, so about 30 feet. And anybody with an iPhone that's passing by, passing by within 10 meters, within 30 feet of this AirTag, gets a signal from it, and it sends that information along with the latitude and longitude and the time and the date back to Apple, back to the mothership. And that way, if you lose something, or if something gets misplaced, or hopefully not stolen, but if it does, you can see where that device is by um, by going to the Apple Find My app on your phone, and it'll show you a little map and show you about where the device is. I carry one of these in my suitcase because it's a really good thing to do, but it doesn't fit very well in a wallet. It's kind of thick, and it's, I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's pretty thick. And the Air card that I had in my wallet is the size of a credit card. It's a little bit thicker than a credit card, but not much bigger. And it tucks into the wallet, just like another credit card. And so when I had this brainstorm at the police station and realized that there was a tracker in my wallet, I mentioned it to the officer and said, we should go look for my wallet because it's probably at that station somewhere. That's what the map is showing. And the officer said, no, that wasn't a good idea. That was a bad idea to confront the thieves because they could be dangerous. I think was pretty sure they were long gone by that time. But anyway, he said, yeah, you shouldn't do that. You should just, let's file this report, and then you should talk to your insurance company or whatever. Well, we filed the report. It took about an hour, and I got back on the train and went back to that subway station, and using the Find My app, was able to have myself led to the office at that metro station, and sure enough, I got my wallet back with no fuss, muss, or bother. The only problem was that the money was gone, but the credit cards were still there, and all my identification was still there. And if you have to replace a driver's license and social security cards and national identity cards and all that kind of stuff, it's a pain in the patootie. So I was incredibly lucky. The cards come from a company called Rolling Square. They're a Swiss company. The cards are not very expensive. They're, I think, 40 euros, $40 a piece. They are available directly from the company. They'll ship them to you for a little shipping charge, or you can buy them on Amazon and other resellers. They are awesome cards. They're very similar in technology to the AirTags, just a different form factor, and they actually have a chip from Apple in them that works with the Apple Find Me ecosystem. So it's a licensed product. It's not a rogue product. So it's a good product. It's got a couple of differences. It's got a couple of things that the AirTags don't have, and it's missing a couple of things the AirTags do have. So as far as what it does have is it has this little round device here on one side, and that is an NFC tag, near field communication. It's a new communications protocol that allows something like a cell phone or an iPad or something like that that has the right kind of chips built into it. When it gets close to this NFC gizmo right here, there's a little handshake that happens, and what happens with this particular one is that a web page comes up on your phone that has my business card on it. It has my email address and my YouTube channel, Department of Wacky Ideas, and my phone number and a few other things on it that you can use to track me down. So it's my business card. Now, if you don't have a phone that has NFC capabilities, and you're the person that you're trying to share the information with, there's also a QR code on the card. It's on the back. This one is covered up with a little piece of green tape because I don't want to hear from the world. I get enough email as it is. Someday I'll share my email adventures with you. But it works pretty well, and it's got a couple of shortcomings though. And one of the shortcomings is that it does not have replaceable batteries. The AirTags have replaceable batteries. They last about a year or so, and then you can replace the battery, and it goes on. This is a sealed unit. You cannot replace the battery in it, and when it goes bad, what happens is that you have to buy another one. Now, these are $40, so it's not a huge deal. But, I hate the idea of things going into the waste stream. And this thing's made of CNC aluminum and tempered glass, and I think some plastic. So it's, those are things that you don't want to see go into the waste stream. You want to see things that are rechargeable or have replaceable batteries. And to their credit, the company Rolling Square has a new version of the product out, which costs less, weighs less, has a louder pinger in it. These things have pingers in them. They have speakers to help you find it when something's lost. And it costs $10 less. So it's a great deal. It's called the AirCard E. I don't have one because I'm going to use this one until it wears out, and then I'll get one with replaceable batteries. Well, that's it. It's my story is, I hope something that will help you. I hope that if this kind of content is useful to you, that you'll subscribe and do the notification thing, because that makes me feel good. But no worries either way. I hope that you maintain situational awareness. You look around you. You pay attention to where your belongings are. You pay attention to how you present yourself to the world as you travel. And I guarantee you that you'll have a good time, and that most people the majority of people, the vast majority of people, are not bad people. They're good people, and they want to help you and want you to have a good life. And I hope you feel the same about other people in your world. Well, that's it from Bologna, Italy, where I'm going to be for a few more hours. Then I'm going to get on a plane and go to an entirely new country. So stay tuned for that. This is Dave. Ciao. Buongiorno. Have a great day. Bye.